Oh boy, the Leafs are officially in trouble. Last night in Pittsburgh marks the second 5-2 loss in a row for the Leafs. I don't even know what to say about this game, to be honest. It was. Looking at the game stats afterwards, it's such a weird thing. They outshot them by a significant margin. The hits were almost even, which is never the case with the Leafs. They outface-offed them. Pittsburgh had to block a few more shots than the Leafs did. Like, all the stat categories pointed towards the Leafs on paper looking like the better team. Watching the game, that is not the impression I got at all. The Leafs looked a little disjointed. You know, they had to fight for all their chances. They couldn't, a lot of times, couldn't string two passes together and whatnot. And whereas Pittsburgh, everything they touched turned to gold. But I mean, when you got Crosby on the ice and such, right? Like they look like a team that knows what they're doing and have been there before, and they are that kind of team. Whereas the Leafs are still figuring things out, and they do not look anything like that. So it was such an anomaly to see. I'm like looking at the shot clock all through the game, and I'm like, how are they out shooting the Penguins? Like, I haven't seen them get a chance in like 10 minutes. You know, like, it was so weird. And it was the power play that sunk them. The scoring all came in the first and the second for Pittsburgh. They started scoring just past the halfway point of the first period and finished scoring just past the halfway point of the second period. But within that 22 or 24 minute span, whatever it was, they scored 5 goals, 3 of them on the power play. And you couldn't really fault Fred for most of them, like especially the power play goals. I mean, the Penguins are throwing it around, and Crosby's doing his tricks and such. And the only one of the goals really where he kind of coughed the puck up behind the net, and it went around and came out, and he was still trying to recover before it was in. So, but that being said, this is a team that's built on their ability to score, and they can't score any fucking goals anymore. Like, it's brutal. They can't score more than 2 goals a game anymore. And we all know defensively they've always been challenged, and now they're letting in multiple goals per game. So this is not a good formula. And Fred's supposed to be a world-class goalie, and he is, but even he's having troubles, and he can't keep the puck out of the net, whether it's his fault or not, or it's his defenses or whatever. So it's just, everything's a mess right now. It's a hot mess. And when Keefe took over, they had that stretch where they played so well, and I don't know why they've gotten away from that. I don't know how these types of things can slip away so badly, and them not seem to be able to reel themselves in and go, oh, we had success doing this, and for an extended stretch too. It's not like it was a fluke. So I really don't know what to think of all this anymore. And the luxury the Leafs don't have anymore is that now the teams behind them are starting to win. So going into action last night, Florida was only 2 points behind them for that third place in the Atlantic. So the other teams are starting to catch up. So, or at least Florida is anyways. So Montreal keeps losing, which is fantastic, but Florida is nipping at their heels. So at this point, it looks like they're just going to play themselves right out of the playoffs, unless they find some way to dig in and turn this around. But how long have I been saying that? And they just can't seem to do it. They seem to win once every 3 or 4 games, and it's kept them afloat up to this point. But I have a feeling that's not going to be the case much longer. So they got Pittsburgh in a home and home here, so they got them on Thursday night at home. And I thought last night should have been a statement game from the Leafs after a hard-fought win against Ottawa on Saturday. I thought the Buffalo game was a big letdown. I understand it's back-to-back, they're tired and stuff, but it's Buffalo, and they should have won that game. And so I thought going into Pittsburgh, given the scenario, given the circumstances, they had to throw out a really good effort, and it just wasn't there. So I don't know if this is a team that's just rolling over and it's been a weird season, and they're like, fuck it, I have a feeling that's not the conscious decision of them, but subconsciously as a group, they just don't seem to be able to get their shit together. And I don't know if that's if it's what it is, So this I thought last night should have been a statement game. It was anything but. So Thursday night's game, I think Has to be. If it isn't, if the Leafs don't at least throw out a massive effort and scrape at least a point out of that game on Thursday night, I'm going to have to think that they're probably done. Because they can't change anything. Nothing seems to change. They keep playing this way, and they've been given enough chances, enough mulligans here with teams behind them losing, and it's not going to last forever. It's going to catch up to them, and I think this next game and the games just beyond it are going to be the turning point of their season, one way or another. So we'll see what happens. I keep saying we'll see what happens, and what happens is not good. So I really hope they can turn it around, but at this point, don't know what to think. So, well, we'll see what happens.